If you have cracks in your foundation, you will collapse under the impact. If you have cracks in your foundation, they will be expanded under a macro shift. You will not be able to hold that shift with your integrity because all your foundational leaks will be put front and center. Welcome to the Grounded in Self podcast, where we become so rooted in who we are that we can dance with the strongest of winds, feel cleansed by the heaviest of rains, know that we are whole without our leaves, and stay grounded no matter where life takes us. This podcast is for anyone that's in their spiritual or self-growth era that just wants the whole thing to feel human again. That they can have a permission slip to not be perfect and understand that you are whole just as you are and allowed to desire growth. I am your host, Christina. I am a somatic embodiment coach, a facilitator, and a business owner. But most importantly, I am a woman in the messy process of becoming, and I'm here to teach you the lessons I've learned thus far and continue to grow alongside you all. So if you are looking to become grounded in yourself, to live a life that feels yummy, and come back to the power that is inherently yours, you are in the right place. Come on in, baby. I'm so excited to have you as part of my family. Hello, my beautiful people. How we doing? Welcome to this week's episode of Grounded in Self. On this week's episode, I'm gonna give you what might be a hell of a wake-up call on what it means to actually transform your life and how to do it. And in this episode, I'm specifically talking to the person that is out there chasing the idea that one day they are just going to wake up to the 180 moment where their life switches. And I'm here to tell you that's not going to happen. I'm not here to crush your dreams. I want all of those things for you. But that 180 moment, she's not real. And I can speak to that because I have transformed in every single one of those aspects. And it wasn't until I made this shift that those things started to happen and actually hold. Because it was less than a year ago that I was talking to my coach. I had just come back from my big trip where I was looking to become a whole new person, to find myself, and I was fucking reeling. I did not have this 180 shift. If anything, I was pulled back into old habits. And after coming to that, I was talking to my coach and I was like, I need to move. I need to make new friends. Oh, my dreams will all come true if I have a new community. I can't take on this identity as a coach until X, Y, and Z happens. And so I have to make this big external shift. And she had to sit my ass down and remind me that's not how things work. That's not how you want things to work. And we'll go into why that is. So what we're talking about here, that idea that like one day you're just going to wake up and everything's changed. There's just going to be this one moment that changes. That is a macro shift. You're looking for this big, abrupt shift, transformation, flip, whatever you want to call it. And that idea, biting into, I'm just going to sit around until, one day the universe decides and I'm a different person, does us harm. It not only has us looking at external factors that need to be changed to have an identity shift, which is internal, but it also takes away our power of changing ourselves. If I'm just sitting here waiting for the one day that I get the call to, go move to Bali and become an influencer, I'm probably putting off doing things that might get me that call. And you'll see that when people do like point to one moment in their life where everything changed, they're not wrong. But they also are discrediting all the little micro things that they had to do to get to that one moment, to bring in that one opportunity, and to hold that one opportunity. Because macro shifts have faults. If you're waiting for a macro shift, you will continue to wait. Because one thing that people do not realize is that macro shifts are always preceded by micro actions. Micro actions being those small little things you are doing to put yourself in the place of that opportunity for that big transformation, for that one sweeping thing that's going to change your life. And think about it. That overnight sensation, the Instagram influencer, they had to be posting to wake up one day to 50,000 followers. That singer that was just found in a bar and happened to be signed by a multi-billionaire producer had to be in that bar singing. She couldn't be on her couch. She had to take the steps to be out there. You have to put yourself in front of the opportunity, or it will never happen. Macro shifts also have this effect where they put pressure on our foundation. They are impactful. If you have cracks in your foundation, you will collapse under the impact. If you have cracks in your foundation, they will be expanded under a macro shift. You will not be able to hold that shift with your integrity because all your foundational leaks will be put front and center. I know this personally. When I went and traveled Europe for 2 months, there were lots of things that I did not handle before I went on this trip because I went to go find myself. And while I don't regret it, I had a great time. I also came back lost as ever, dysregulated, a significant amount heavier, and with acne everywhere. Because I hadn't laid foundations in habits and routines to hold myself in this macro transformational experience. And it showed. It really showed. It threw me back quite a bit into old habits that I had. It threw me back in my progress in finding myself. It threw me back in my progress in finding my purpose. And now I can talk about it and I'm grateful for it, but bruh, that was exhausting. And I was reeling after it because my foundation wasn't set and I was waiting for this one big airplane leap to bring me a whole new life. And it didn't. It brought me back to the old same shit because I had to come home. I had to face my reality one day. And if the foundation's not there, you get lost under it. You get crushed under it. And the last thing that I'll point out about macro shifts that people don't really pay attention is to hold a macro shift, to hold that big transformation that you want. You're going to have to proceed it with micro shifts. You're going to have to act in ways that hold that transformation. You're going to have to show up in ways that that new person would show up in. You can't show up in the old ways. No, if you keep acting how you used to act, you wouldn't hold that new identity, which is all that you wanted. You wanted the new identity, so you better be ready to hold it. Macro shifts aren't this beautiful thing that we keep thinking they are. Anyone that's gone through one can tell you that they actually had to work for it. That billionaire tech startup had to have the 14 hours of working the business before they got, the big investors. And then they still probably had to hold being a new CEO. It takes work. It's not just a wake up and everything's new. You have to step into a new identity. And that's not to scare you. It's actually to do the opposite. Because the real mechanism from transformation is not some big earthquake shift. It's compounding. It's building the pieces one by one, like rocks or cliffs that slowly compound to become a mountain. And there's such a beautiful thing about learning how to compound these shifts. Because what you're doing in taking the tiny steps, the little teeny, ipsy steps that a year from now someone will just see as a giant leap. But you'll know are little tiny steps. Is you're giving your body, your nervous system, your ego, let's not act like it's not around, and your confidence, your identity, your foundation space to expand, to hold. You're giving them all the ability to get on board. So then when you arrive to where you want to be, to that transformation, you're still whole. Your body's not over here, your mind's not over here, your ego's not over here. They're all together. And you get to integrate it all. You get to have it all. And it gets to feel good. And what's really beautiful about when we shift from looking at these macro things that are just going to come into our life and transform us and start to look at compounding, which can also be called micro shifts, small little pieces building elements, is that you get to stop waiting on a miracle. You can start whenever you want to start. Isn't that amazing? You could start now. You could start today. And you get to take your power back. You get to make every small choice you make a vote for the person that you're becoming, a vote for the direction that you want to go, a vote for being able to look at yourself a year from now and be like, wow, I know exactly how I got there. And also, it wasn't as hard as I thought. Because compounding can sound difficult. Oh, I have to make this choice over and over and over and over again. But when you look back, it goes so much faster than you would ever think. So much faster. And you get to know how you got there. You get to see the roadmap. And that means that you can do it again. That means you can apply it to other parts of your life. And that's fucking cool. I can't tell you how many areas of my life I have shifted now because I did it in one space and I shifted the actions and I changed and I made a different choice and then I made the old choice and I went back a little bit and then I made the new choice. And now I'm a fully different person. The person I was 10 years ago couldn't even move. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, physically, I could barely walk. The person I was a year ago didn't know any of the people I know now. Some of my most impactful friendships, I didn't know. And it wasn't because I had this big giant thing that happened. It was because I started to show up for myself and I got to gain the confidence in doing so. I got to become the person that stayed with her word. So how do you transform? How do you make these micro shifts? And what do they actually look like? First, when you want to transform your life, you need to know yourself. You need to realize where you are now. What does that look like? And be honest. What does it look like? Don't guilt. Don't shame. If you do that, then you're just digging yourself further. No, just what is your reality? Because this is your starting point. And you get to know yourself in also looking at your starting point and where you want to go. What is that dream you want? What is that career you want to call in? Who are the people you want to surround yourself with? You have point A, you're starting. Point B, you're ending. And such a beautiful journey in between that you get to go through. So how do we go through the journey? We start to expand ourselves. We take those little tippy toes. We take a small action and then we let it land. Then we take another action and we let it land. And we take another action and we might have an ego death. I know that one. And then we take another action. And quickly we become that person way more quickly than we think. Like, so much more quickly. Like, you'll look back and be like, how did I get here? But also I know every step that took me here. That's so cool. And like, you just have to expand and maybe collapse a little and expand and expand and let it feel good. Because when you expand really far, you rebound really far. When you expand just a little bit, you don't have that far to go back, but then you feel really good here until you stay here and it becomes second nature. And that's fucking sick. It feels good, trust me. So just start little tippy toes. Because we run a mile with each step. And the last thing you have to do to actually transform is to pace yourself in that mile. Your homework. And yes, I'm going to give you guys homework on most episodes because I know you freaks. You love that self-growth stuff. You want to keep getting better. You'll hear me say homework and you're like, yeah, I was an A student. Or if you were like me, maybe like B student. But your homework is to find where you are, where you want to be in one area of your life. We're going to start with one area of your life. Not all of your areas. Which one is the most focused right now? If you're a real extrastellar student, you can choose two. But no more than that. And start looking at one or two shifts that you can make that are attainable, that you don't do. I don't want them to be super easy, but are attainable, that actually would fit in with who you are now and who you are becoming. If you want to be someone that regularly goes to the gym and works out and goes to run clubs, maybe that one shift looks like going to the gym twice a week. Schedule it in your calendar. Hold yourself to it. And every time you go to that gym, every time you make whatever micro shift it is, celebrate the hell out of yourself. Celebrate the hell out of yourself. Give yourself a physical pat on the back. Because it won't be long from now where 2 days at the gym, second nature. So you're doing 3. So you're adding a run. So you now found all your best friends at Run Club. But you need to hit one step of the ladder, feel sturdy on it before you step to the next. You don't have to feel like you're on ground. You still want to be elevated. It still wants to feel expansive. But then the second thing, you're like, ah, cool, next step. Move. Keep the momentum. And if it gets too high, you're allowed to step back a little bit until you feel like you are balanced. And that's how we shift our lives. Not in these big moments that we wait for that come from an external source, but from internal, conscious, micro shifts. We love a micro. Because through the micro shifts, we make macro transformations. I told you earlier that I have shifted my life in every one of those areas, or am in the progress of doing so. When I went on that 2-month trip 2 years ago, I was looking for my purpose. I was looking for myself. I was looking for new friends. I was looking for the career, the idea of what I wanted to do. I was lost. And I wanted this big trip to answer those questions for me. But since that trip 2 years ago, almost to the date 2 years ago, I have been able to make the micro shifts. I have been able to find the career that lights my heart up. I have put myself out there over and over again and met the community and the people that make me happy to just be around others. I have taken the small micro shifts to transform those areas of my life. And I can so confidently say that when I want to take the next step, when I want to transform a new area of my life, I know exactly how to do it. I have put the confidence coins in my confidence bank, as one of my best friends says. And I know who I am when I go do it. Because through all those micro shifts, I have built my integrity. I have built that I am a woman that will show up time and time again, even when I fail. And I have built a new identity. And I can tell you, this is my last little thing, but there is nothing like meeting someone new and them that something you do is just part of your personality and you can remember when it was not that way. So, quick recap. If you are chasing that moment, that opportunity where someone random just pulls you on the street and is like, I know about your dream and let me make it possible, that moment is most likely not coming. And if it does, I want you to be prepared to hold it. And you become prepared by taking actions. Small, little, tiny actions, micro shifts, over and over and over again. So that when the opportunity does come to your door, big or small, you can take it. You have the foundation. You have compounded into place the foundation that holds it with no cracks or little cracks that you can take the time and cover and seal and do great. And you can continue to hold that new identity. You can continue to hold that opportunity. You can capitalize on that opportunity, and you can do it again and again and again. Because you know how to transform. Because you know how to put yourself in motion. Because you are no longer giving your power away to an external event or a moment that you're just waiting for to happen. Because you create your own destiny and you create your own identity. And you are a motherfucking badass. And I love that for you. Because you get to choose your life. You get to choose who you want to be. It just might take a little time. And I will be here holding your hand and helping you through it if you'd like. So if this episode, this perspective shift woke you up a little bit and gave you something to ponder, and you want to commit to one area of your life and 1 to 2 micro shifts that you're making in that area, comment them below. DM me. Let me know. I want to see how this switches you. And if you liked this episode, please follow Grounded in Self and give us a like. Give us a rating and continue to tune in every week as I give you the lessons that I have learned so that you don't have to go collapse nearly as many times as I did. I love you lots.